fire-spewing dragons, plundering Vikings, kingdoms to negotiate with, and even subjects to serve your every command in any condition. What else would you want in a medieval-style game? Today, I survived 100 years of kingdoms and castles. I choose the Winter difficulty, and I name my new kingdom the Eagle Empire. I start my kingdom by placing my keep near a lovely lake. While my workers were busy at work chopping down trees, I was looking at blueprints that they added in the new infrastructure update, and I noticed one called Greek Fire, so I'm excited to see what that turns into later in this journey. I then proceeded by building some houses and farms for my residents. For years 2 and 3, I built a stone mine along with a road running down to it for my residents to more easily access it. In year 4, a fire sprung up at the stone quarry, although luckily due to the sea, my residents were able to save it before it burnt to a crisp. I also started production on a forester, so my kingdom can always have a great supply of wood if I ever need it in the future. My kingdom then turned into a small village, but I also built a small granary, and this will allow me to better store my grains throughout the winter so they don't spoil. In year 6, a fire started and set ablaze most of my houses and my keep, although luckily none of them were destroyed, although I will need to repair them eventually. Suddenly a dragon appeared, although luckily it seemed like it just wanted to check out my kingdom and just did a few flybys, and luckily didn't set anything ablaze. I noticed that my residents' happiness was dropping rapidly. This was due to the dragon flying over the kingdom, so to solve this, I planned to build some orchards, which would increase the residents' health and ultimately increase their happiness. I then built a cottage so I could further increase my kingdom's population. I then decided that it might be a good idea to consult with my advisors to see what they say I should do for my kingdom. The agriculture advisor suggested more farms, the city advisor suggested to build some more stockpiles for wood, and the military advisor suggested to build some defenses, which I'm planning to do in a few years. Although I'll start out with a tower, with an archer tower, and I'll help defend my quarry mainly. Although it might help defeat any incoming troops, enemy troops such as Vikings. I then decided that I should build a well, as it will be very helpful in fighting future fires that appear in my kingdom. I then built 2 more cottages, as I was in need of increasing my workforce. I built my tower higher with 2 more sections to it. I built a treasury room so I could tax my people to make better buildings. I then built a cottage, and I built a tavern to raise the happiness of my people. I then upgraded my kingdom by building some charcoal makers along with some new wells and houses. I also provided a new road for my people to make transporting resources quicker. I also got a new granary, and I also got my first manor. Soon after, a dragon decided to attack and burn down my cottages, although luckily my town hall was able to stop it before it completed its mission. I decided to build another forester, although shortly after construction, a group of Vikings decided to plunder my city, although luckily my keep was able to kill them. My people then wanted a church, so I built them one, although a secondary group of Vikings tried to attack and plunder my village, although shortly they were dealt with. My kingdom then became a burgeoning town. Right after, I received my first emissary. The sender was Queen Amato, and she was just saying hello. I then started constructing a road to the iron deposit. This would then allow me to start extracting iron. I then made another tower and quarry along with my first fishing hut. As an emissary arrived at my kingdom, a dragon set fire to some of my farms. The emissary was sent by Queen Amato, and she wanted me to send some of my resources to her kingdom so she could build a blacksmith. although I didn't have an emissary, so I had to refuse her. I had to build a well and some farms, as I noticed the people living near the iron mine were starving and they were having raging fires. Some Vikings then attacked and almost got away with 100 gold, although luckily this tower was able to stop them. I spent the next 4 years upgrading my kingdom. I built a new forester, a new manor, and I also built a dock. The dock will be particularly useful, as it will allow me to trade resources for large amounts of gold with any merchant ships that come and go. I then received my first emissary from Queen Stridham, and she just said hello. My people then wanted a tavern, so I built them one. I also built a blacksmith, as I wanted to start making iron products, as it will help me a lot in the future. I also built some orchards and a swineherd, as it will help increase the variety of food my residents have, which will increase their health and happiness. I then built some military buildings, including the Chamber of War, the barracks, and archer school. These will be used in the future to make units which will help protect my kingdom. I discovered a hut hidden in the forest, and when I checked it out, I realized it belonged to a witch. When I spoke with the witch, she asked for some food, and I decided it would be a good idea to comply, as I realized if I helped her out, she would sell me spells. I made a transport cart which I tried to use to distribute supplies to different stockpiles, although later on I realized I messed up and had to fix it. I built a protective wall around my keep and some Vikings attacked. I built some more orchards to increase my food production, along with a mason, as I wanted to start repairing damaged buildings in my kingdom. Queen Stridham then wanted to open trading agreements. We both agreed on the different trading prices and went on with our day. I then traded with the merchant ship and then upgraded my wall. 2 Viking groups then appeared, although the only damage they caused was setting my manor on fire. I didn't even know this, but in this game, Viking ships can be struck by lightning and sink. I knew the Viking attacks would only get stronger from now on, so I decided to increase my protection. I was trading with the merchant ship when I suddenly got another message. It was Queen Stridham, and she was asking me on my opinion of the plague in her kingdom. I just gave her my honest opinion. I then increased the size of the wall, as I needed the Eagle Empire to be protected. That was right until Queen Amato came with some very useful materials. The iron tools will really help in destroying the stones blocking the wall. I soon got word that the witch was requesting me, so I came over to see what she wanted, and she wanted some charcoal. I obliged and gave her the charcoal she wanted, and she gave me a plague cure potion. I then laid blueprints for Diplomacy Hall, as I knew that Eagle Empire would need emissaries in the future to negotiate with other kingdoms. Queen Amato came by to negotiate merchant prices, and she agreed. She then showed me her prices, and I agreed to hers since she agreed to mine. Vikings then invaded my kingdom, and unfortunately one group of Vikings managed to burn down my manor, as it was just outside my archer range. Queen Amato then came to tell me how she had trouble in the last Viking raid, and she requested help in the next one, although unfortunately I had to decline her, as I didn't have any troops, and this further decreased our reputation. After another successful defense against the Vikings, I built some more walls for defense, and I spoke with the witch and got a Viking smite. Until Queen Stridham came by and asked for my merchant ships to send more stone to her kingdom. I changed the resources that my merchant ship would deliver, and I started construction on a noria, aqueducts, and a reservoir. I'm planning on putting all my kingdom's farms in this area, as it will make them a lot more organized and the land will be more fertile. I didn't have enough labor to build the aqueducts and noria and the reservoir, so I built some more houses. Although Queen Amato came by and was going to talk about happier matters. but then dropped off a sick member of her team. Although I instantly realized this was a very bad decision and even killed 13 colonists in the end. A few years later, Queen Stridham came by to tell me how she became queen, and then I also went to see what the witch wanted, and she just wanted some wood, which I gave, and in return she gave me a dragon smite spell. Although right afterwards I noticed a dragon was coming, so I decided to use it, and they're really strong. I realized how weak my keep was, so I started to build walls, but right as I was building the gates, a group of Viking ships came and were destroying my walls, which was really annoying because the masons take a while to build them back up. Some of the Vikings had disembarked from the ships, and although one of them was quickly destroyed before it reached my keep, the other two had destroyed all 3 of my orchards. The construction of the aqueducts and walls was taking up large amounts of stone, so I decided to make a large quarry, although first I had to remove the unusable stone surrounding it. Queen Amata then came by to ask for me to help her defend her kingdom in the next Viking invasion, but I didn't have any troops, so I had to deny her, which further decreased my reputation with her, and if this continues, she might even declare war on me. The reservoir was still under construction, although I decided to start building a bathhouse along with the large quarry, as I really needed the stone right now. I further increased my kingdom's safety with some ballistas, and I increased my food production with some new farms in the new agricultural area. Queen Stridham then came by to request me to send resources so she could build a new cottage, and I agreed as I wanted to keep my reputation with her as high as possible. After Queen Stridham left, I immediately started to produce a diplomat so I could deliver the resources she requested. I of course had to transport the diplomat and their gift, so I built them a transport ship specially made for them. At the time, I was really confused, but basically what happened here was that the large quarry wasn't producing anything because it didn't have access to any tools, which I had turned off. And so for many years, it had not even been producing anything, so I was just struggling with stone at points. Although, yeah, this is definitely not one of my brightest moments. While I was contemplating why that large quarry wasn't working at the time, I heard distant roars, so I checked what it was, and I found this new dragon variant which I'd never seen before, along with a dark red dragon, and I was really lucky that they would not attack me right now, because I'm pretty sure they're a lot stronger than any dragons I've really faced before. As the dragons were unleashing their carnage, I just came over to Queen Stridham with the gift and just saw how much damage this new variant could cause. Like, those towers couldn't even do anything to them. Although I successfully gave the resources to Queen Stridham and we talked about trade, these were the trade deals I gave her and these were the ones she gave mine. I think the ones I gave her will allow me to get a lot more money, as with the pork will give me a lot of money because, well, I have quite a bit of it. Queen Amato then came by, and funny enough, she wanted to talk about rearranging the merchant prices, which I agreed to. And I then built a church along with a Viking raid coming along, which was fun. And they also brought some ogres this time. And as you can see here, it seemed like they were unstoppable. But then a ballista hit them and they seemed not invincible, so that was good. They also brought multiple, exactly 3. Although without the ballistas, my kingdom would have been doomed. My subjects were still getting unhappy since we didn't have a bathhouse, although it'll be done shortly as it's literally almost done. Although the witch came by and wanted a lot of resources, especially gold and stone. And as you can see, that's like more than half my stone, so I reluctantly gave her it, but if this continues, like, I'm not gonna be able to support her. I then recruited 2 swordsman units to prepare for the next Viking invasion, along with a clinic as my people wanted one. I very kindly evicted some wolves as I wanted to expand my agriculture area by building some more orchards, as again I want to basically remove all my other farms now and locate them in this one central place, as it might not be good for efficiency, but I just think it'll look better and be more easier to like kind of tell where they are. I also wanted to build a new residential area so I could get more people and just make it look nicer. So yeah, my kingdom's kind of thriving at this point. I wanted to make some more food for my fishing huts, so I built a new one over here. As it requires very little space, but it's really good. I also wanted to be more prepared for Viking invasions, so I built some castle steps, and this basically allows me to put archers, or I think basically any other unit, onto the walls, so when basically Vikings, for example, come and invade, they can't. So yeah, very good. Queen Amata then came by to ask me to help her build a blacksmith, although of course I didn't have enough stone, so I denied her and our relationship dropped even worse. And I think war is almost imminent at this point. Vikings invaded again, and this time they brought ogres again, but they also were accompanied by a dragon. This is really like the real life dragon riders. They went through the first gate, although luckily they were never able to break through the second gate into the keep. Otherwise they would have caused immediate damage to the keep, and wow, just it would have been different, but luckily that never happened. I was thinking of making swine herds for a while now, but I finally did it, as this will produce a lot more pork for my kingdom, which will make me tons of money from the other kingdoms. But I also wanted to make a large iron mine, so that I started out by clearing some of those immovable rocks which do nothing, except being annoying. So yeah, I was glad of getting rid of them. I also built a stockpile so I could increase my storage. I then ordered my subjects to build better roads, as I wanted to increase my production, as these roads basically make all my peasants move a lot faster. So yeah, it would be really good. Queen Stridham then came by to deliver a gift, and it was pretty nice. I mean, it gave me money, stone, lumber, some tools, and even some food. I mean, it's a pretty nice gift. I also just admired just like the game. I really like it when like games have like the individual people doing individual jobs. I mean, this looks really cool. Them like hopping along, and like the pigs just walking around. And also I just built some orchards so I could increase my fruit production to increase my people's health and their happiness. And then the witch wanted a lot of food. Like, this is like almost a suspicious amount of food. I then made a large iron mine as I realized I could have enough space for it now, and this will just increase the production of tools and will be very needed. I then noticed that these wolves had killed one of my peasants. This was the last straw. I had to get rid of them. So I went over there and I kindly got rid of them. I then also noticed there were more wolves hiding in the forest right there next to it. So I decided to eliminate all future threats so that this event could never repeat. The end was approaching, so I just built some decorations around my keep. The end year came, year 100. The Vikings appeared to have sent their largest invasion yet. But then they changed course suddenly at the last second away from my island. That was then when I had spotted the ambush force on the other side of my island. I had to rush my troops over, and luckily I was able to take them out before they had dealt any damage. This had saved my kingdom from the Viking attack. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like and also subscribe so you don't miss when I post 200 years of kingdoms and castles. Please comment any ideas you have for how I could improve my videos, and I hope you have a great and wonderful day.